Hey guys, welcome to the SuperShow podcast. I am Chris, and I'm joined by the frankly gorgeous Alyx Jones on my right.
Oh, thank you very much.
And the sultry, curvaceous. Jamie.
I like that. I don't know what sultry means, but
well, you know, you're sultry.
I'm all about it.
Basically, you're like a slag.
New year, new me.
Well, new year, new you. Yeah. Happy 2020.
It's the future. It's official.
Every day is the future. Every second is the future, Alyx Jones. So
2020 feels different to me.
It does feel like a future. It's like a Blade Runner year.
Hey, it's a new decade, guys.
Also, like historic, because if someone says what you talk about the decade now, and you have to say the 20s, that's like weird.
Wow.
I wonder how long it's going to take us. Every year, where you got to write down, like you go to the doctor or something, they're like, write down the year and whatever, and you write down 2019. How long is it going to take you to go until you're writing 2020?
At least a year.
Yeah.
2021 comes around, baby. We'll be ready.
I'd be surprised if I write the date once this year. I do so little writing in any format.
And especially now that we are free agents.
Yeah. If
no
either
writing.
of you two have any more kids and then look back on them, be like, yeah, they were born in the 20s. How
mad.
that
So
doesn't
strange.
sound right.
Mad, yeah.
It doesn't
Very
sound
strange.
right.
The roaring 20s, wasn't it? Anyway, yes, first podcast of the year. I'm really excited. A new decade. You know what would be really cool before we get into the crux of all of this?
All right, tell us.
You know, like end of 2019, beginning of 2020, everyone was like, "Oh, this is my decade," and they were like, "This was me in 2010, and this is me in 2020."
Oh God!
So that's going to be us, because we'll look at this podcast, one of these episodes, at in 2029 when we're all haggard old men.
Haggard old man.
Haggard old men?
You're a wizard, Harry.
Yeah, and we'll be like, "Wow, we really fucked up somewhere."
Yeah, to be honest, if I make it to 2029 or whatever you have to make it to look back, then I'll be happy with that.
Jamie, we all need goals, all right?
Yeah, my goal's staying alive, baby.
It's weird for me because like for the whole of the decade, literally 2010 is when I started working on YouTube and online video and stuff. Yeah. So it's very
Shit,
weird.
no, me too.
I forget how much older you two are than me.
Weird, isn't it? Because then it's the decade of the online media.
That is mad.
It wasn't even on YouTube at first. It was on like MSN.
2010, I had finished my GCSEs and was in my first year of A-levels.
You're such a kid.
Yeah, fucking baby.
That's why the whole 2010, 2019 thing didn't matter that much to me. So I was like, I didn't start working until 2013.
I don't remember like going from the noughties to the 10s being such a fucking big deal, but now everyone's fucking we're in the
Social
20s.
media.
Me too. I swear.
Yeah, it is.
Nobody mentioned decades. It just happened. But this time around, everyone's so
do you know
excited
what?
about it.
In the year 2000, do you know how that stuff was communicated? You had to speak to someone.
Or email.
Gross. Vomit.
Whereas now,
or MSN
it's like
Messenger.
2019, everyone can show off about how successful they were in the last decade by posting a tweet about it.
Yeah.
That's got to be before most of the dating apps. It's got to be before most of the big social media
no ways,
things.
dude. Like Match.com.
Nah, but you know, like Tinder and things like that.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, anyway, listen, this isn't a calendar podcast. It's a gaming podcast. So let's get down to the crux of it. What I'd like to do today, it was actually your idea, Jonesy, I think, was revisit our predictions that we made at the beginning of 2019. Is that right?
And see how wrong we were.
It was almost a year ago to the day. I looked it up. It was the 6th of January, 2019.
That's mad. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we should be in for a treat, see what we got right, see what we got wrong. And then, of course, we're going to run down some interesting stuff has happened in the world of gaming. So we'll talk about that. And but first, I want to know, but as we usually do, like what games have you guys been playing?
Mine will be quick.
Let's hear it.
You said you started playing something yesterday.
I did play some. So I got Jedi. It's my birthday around this time of year recently, and I got Jedi Fallen Order from my brother.
Nice.
And so I was playing that a bit yesterday. I just haven't played anything apart from that. It's so hard to get into. Like I was genuinely getting into battles with a few stormtroopers where there's like 3 that shoot at you and then 2 that fight you. I got killed like so many times.
That was Jamie. Jamie was getting, he's seeing the red mist. He was getting so angry. But in those games, you kind of have to figure out the rhythm.
But the rhythm of like you versus one enemy, I think was quite easy to do.
Yeah.
You can dodge and attack and wait and dodge and do this. But when you have no force powers and then there's 5 people and it's all about parrying, returning blaster. I was getting nuts.
There was this one section. Sorry, Jamie. There was this one section that Jamie was really fucking struggling with.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, go ahead then.
I was going to say I remember the combination of enemies that pissed me off. At least this one time, it was 2 of those mole rat things and a guy with a rocket launcher. Yes, and I was like, I can't deal with all of this stuff at once. I can't deal with it.
But it was so funny. Annoying. I was like, Jamie, just slow down the rocket launcher, kill the rats, and then kill that
Oh,
dude.
it's so easy.
So easy.
It's
I can do
not.
a cartwheel. I just don't want to.
One thing
Can
I
you?
hate. Can I be really specific about one little thing I don't
Oh,
like?
please.
Let's get this straight, though. It's
Yeah.
a flawed game. It's not an excellent game by any means. It's a good game.
But I'm really enjoying it,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
what's strange because even though there's some of the combat I don't like, I do really like a lot of it.
Much like Star Wars, it's plunky and it's janky, and we love it.
But one thing I really don't like is when you're holding block. Okay,
I'm trying to remember the control scheme.
it's
now,
L1.
Yeah.
Holding down block. If you then hit attack,
Yeah.
you should. I think you should attack and then immediately go back into block if you didn't.
Oh, if you're holding it
attack
down, yeah.
But you have to hold block, release block, hit the attack button, and then re-hold block. I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's so specific.
That's
like
fair
that.
enough.
There's some weird decisions in that game, but like we said, overall, like, you know, the ingredients, the eggs may have been going a bit off, and the flour maybe had
The mix was a bit runny.
Yeah, but you know what? The cake came out quite delicious, so you can't complain.
It is a
too much.
tasty cake.
And I covered it in icing.
What about you, Jamie? I saw the other night you were on Need for Speed Heat.
Well, that's the thing.
Oh!
The Christmas period's kind of a weird hangover time for me because I'm just clearing up the games that I didn't get time to come around to in the regular calendar year, which for me so far has been Need for Speed Heat and Pokemon Sword.
Okay.
Neither of which I think are particularly remarkable. I don't know if that's a controversial opinion. We played some Need for Speed, obviously, back
Yeah,
in the good old days.
I played it and I thought it was quite trash.
I don't think it's trash. I think the gimmick is interesting. I just don't think it's that engaging.
Right.
Pokemon, more interestingly, it's the first time in ages I've been like, because for some reason the charm and the kind of the personality of Pokemon isn't winning me over as much as it
Because
used to.
you grew up with Pokemon.
Exactly. And this is the first time where I'm like, the world and the design of the Pokemon specifically, I'm not that enamored by. And so what you're left with is a pretty by-the-numbers, very easy JRPG.
Right.
And that's what Pokemon has been. So I'm like 15 hours in. I'll probably finish it because none of us have anything better to do at the moment than
True, yeah. Time is on our side.
try and fail to fill the time with interesting things.
Have you heard of this indie game called Temtem?
Temtem? No.
No.
Temtem. So it's a what they're calling a Pokemon-like.
Okay.
It's basically an indie Pokemon, but it's an MMO, and I think it's only an alpha, and it's been getting a lot of traction. Like, people are saying it is like this is what Sword and Shield This is what Sword and Shield should have been.
Interesting.
So maybe we'll take
One
a look.
indie game that is on my radar for the end of the month, though. Have either of you two ever played any of Kentucky Route Zero?
No, and I've been
No.
waiting for the complete edition.
So it's for folks at home who haven't been tracking this thing.
Oh, it's mental,
The first
yeah.
episode came out in 2013.
Yeah.
The fifth and final episode is about to come out now in 2020. I didn't realize this game was a popular thing until maybe a month ago. Polygon put out their top 100 games of the
Yeah,
decade,
yeah.
and it's number 4.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Dude,
what is this?
It's like Twin Peaks, right? Like
Right.
Not necessarily, well, maybe in terms of story, I haven't played it, but in terms of its popularity and its cult status, people
Okay.
fucking love it. And I remember when that game came out, like episode 1, and I was like, man, this has got such a cool
I have
art
never
style.
heard of it. That's terrible.
Yeah.
isn't
Well,
it?
5 episodes, and the 5th episode's coming out 7 years to the day
Yeah.
from the first.
That's so mad.
People thought Life is Strange 2 was supposed to come out. Like, that shit
Imagine
ain't
waiting for the next episode.
Some
Oh,
people apparently
yeah,
have.
yeah.
Like,
Like, oh, I'm just waiting. How long is it going to be? Probably a couple of years. It's
yeah.
horrendous.
All right, what else have you been playing? Oh, hold on. Before we go, can I tell you my issue?
Oh,
with
yeah.
Need for Speed Heat.
Yes.
First of all, the controls are
Spill
trash.
the tea.
The controls are trash, but you told me that you could actually change the thing I didn't
You
like
can
about
change whether the thing that initiates your drift.
drift,
By
yeah.
default, you have to let go of the gas, then hit gas again
Yeah,
in the middle of
okay.
the corner.
But-
you could change it to a brake.
it. Yeah, but what?
Oh, right, yeah.
So the brake makes more sense to me, but I didn't know you could change it. So I was like, oh, this is how they want you to do it. So I think it was like R1 or R2, one of them.
R2 will be your gas.
R2 is your gas. So you got to let go and press it again.
Okay.
Except when you're racing and your adrenaline's going and the fucking cops are chasing you.
You don't wanna let
You're
go.
mashing it, right? Like mashing it.
She's
mashing
mashing it.
But when you
Very arousing.
yes. But when you mash it, it just kind of
Stop
adds,
saying mash it.
But no, Jonesy, because when you mash it,
She's mashing,
mashing it. When you press the button, caress it. Each time you do it, it kind of adds another stage of drift, and eventually I'm just fucking doing donuts, and I'm like, well, that's not.
Oh,
helpful.
so you're kind of okay. So you want to do a bit of a
Because
drift.
you're like, oh,
but
I
you
got
just
to
end
drift
up-
like, no, that's not how it wants you to be fucking a gentleman.
I just need a good Need for Speed game. I've waited so long.
And this was honestly, it was almost it.
Okay.
So my issues with controls, maybe you can change them. I haven't gone back to check. Another issue is there was this one segment where they've got this day-night cycle where races in the day get you certain currency, races at night get you another currency, and that works really well. I think it's a nice way of mixing it up. One of the night races happens on this tiny little island. Okay, so you go on there, and it's like, oh, complete this course. Okay, and in this time and against these other people, fine. But because the cops are there, and it's a really tiny island, okay, the cops start chasing you, fine, normal as you will. But what happens is, because you're racing from them, and the island is so small and it's got so many twists and turns, the cops are always on your tail.
You can't get rid of them at all.
Yeah, and the longer they're on your tail, the more reinforcements they bring in. So at the end of it, you've got 8 cops fucking barreling down you, and you're still trying to complete this course in the time allotted or to beat the other things, and it's just fucking impossible. And I was like, why? The design thought behind that was fucking ridiculous. If they had an option to just remove the cops entirely, fucking golden game.
Yeah.
If you change the controls.
Yeah.
From a Need for Speed game.
I think that nighttime mode would be strange without cops, but I do get what you mean.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, Need for Speed 2, that kind of open world, where there's no cops there and it was nighttime, was quality.
Yeah.
Drive to where you need to go. It's fine.
I think this is the best of the 3 modern Need for Speed games. Like,
yeah, was it Criterion? Is it Criterion?
It's
Ghost Games.
It's Ghost Games, which is made up of former Criterion
yeah.
people.
Yeah. See, it's one that I've thought about getting, but I feel like I've been burnt every time I've got a Need for Speed game since Underground.
So you're saying you're burnt out on Need for Speed?
Yeah.
Anyway,
exactly what I'm saying.
If it drops to like £5, get it.
Oh,
yeah, it's a completely fine racing game.
Yeah, like
decent number of cars, looks pretty nice.
Customization options are cool.
I think the soundtrack is guff.
Is it?
Oh yeah,
I turned it off.
Is it all mumble rap?
No,
it's like Mexican
yeah,
shit.
it's like a Miami-inspired kind of like.
Oh,
that
sounds really weird.
It's okay, but like mix it up a bit. Fuck.
How'd you feel about steel drums?
Hey, well,
I like a steel drum as much as the next guy, but I don't want to listen to it for a few hours.
A marimba? Yeah. All right, what else have you been playing?
That's basically it. I go back to FIFA and Destiny 2 every now and then, but I have been slacking. Luigi's Mansion 3 and The Witcher 3 still sealed on my bedside table.
Oh, interesting.
So is Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Of course.
Sealed.
I finished Luigi's Mansion. I think I spoke about it in the last podcast.
Yeah.
That was before Christmas.
I'm a bit behind you on that front. Yeah. What about you, Christoph?
So obviously been playing more Sekiro. I got to this point where you make a choice.
Dude, stop it.
No, it gets so much worse, Jonesy. I get to the point where it's like, hey, you make a choice. You either follow the iron code or you break the iron code.
So this is the short route to the end or the long route?
Yeah. And the short route is the bad ending.
Okay.
And the long route is the good ending. And I got to this point and I was like, fucking thank God, finally. And I watched this cutscene play out, and then it presents me with the choice. Do you follow the iron code or do you break the iron code? I was like, fuck, I can't fucking do this. I'm a fucking masochist. I'm going for the good ending.
Jesus.
Your thoughts and prayers are with me, because fucking when am I going to finish this?
You know what
game?
that means? Another 6 months of Chris's
Sekiro 2 will come out and it'll be like,
we just need Chris's Sekiro minute.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
What do you think the chance are that Chris is still playing Sekiro by the time Elden Ring comes out?
Yeah, it's
I
entirely
think
possible.
he's still going to be talking about it next year.
Probably.
This time in a year.
No, I have plenty of free time now,
Okay.
and I will play these games. The other game that I've been playing is I got a Switch store voucher.
Right.
And I picked up Hollow Knight a bit late on the uptake there, and Katana Zero.
2 very well received games.
And yeah, firsthand I can say fucking excellent. You know what it was? I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I'm getting close to finishing Sekiro. I need a palate cleanser.
You're not.
Well, at this stage, I was still going to go for the bad ending, right? The sure ending. And I was like, I need a palate cleanser.
Okay.
You know, something short and sweet and good quality games, right? Hold on. Hold on. Because I didn't know, okay? And I was like, before all the big, Cyberpunks and Final Fantasies coming out, let me get this to like
a nice, easy little, not easy, but palette cleanser that you can deal with. That's not going to take too much.
And I was like, you know
time.
what? I haven't played my Switch in a very long time. Let's pick up some Switch indies and let's go there. All right. Katana Zero, probably finish it in about like 5-6 hours. I'm about halfway.
Okay.
Hollow Knight. I started playing this game. I'm loving every minute of it. I'm going through it. I'm like, man, this is cool. In Metroidvania, going back to places, going forward places, seeing things, dying a lot because it's very Souls-ish in that way.
Sure.
And I was like, man, I wonder how far along in the story I am, because I've unlocked quite a lot of shit, right? So I go howlongtobeat.com. How long to beat? Oh, anywhere between 25 and 80 fucking hours. I was like, what have I done to myself?
Oh yeah.
But you know what? Hollow Knight, you buy that I bought it for £10.
Yeah. There's a lot of game there.
Even if you rush through it and it's 25 hours, there's a lot of value there.
Yeah, for sure.
I've heard good things as well. I haven't played it. But
It's a really good game.
I've heard a lot of good
and
things.
Silk Song, which is the sequel, has been announced. So I'm as long as I can finish this one, I'll be probably picking that one up.
Nice.
But yeah, that's me in a nutshell. We watched a couple of movies as well. I'm sure you guys did too. Star Wars, it's a big one.
I
Saw Star
liked
Wars.
it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I've spoke to Robin
Yeah.
of all time. What are they called now? Uncovered / all time movies / whatever.
No, just interesting.
Just interesting.
By the time this goes out, yeah.
Oh, I don't know about this. You have to tell me about it.
Okay.
But
Basically, they just relaunched. They did what we did and made another channel. Read into that.
called
what you
Just
will.
Interesting.
Called Just
Okay.
Interesting.
That's wicked. But I often go to Robin for things about movies and stuff because
Yeah.
he's the guy in the know. And I spoke to him about Star Wars, and he was kind of like, "It's trash. Like, what have they done? Like, they've ruined it. They've just a lot of the things he hated were things that I quite liked.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. I don't think it's spoilers, but things like Palpatine being in it.
Yeah, because that was in the trailer, right? So.
But I hadn't seen that, and when he was in it, I thought, oh, that I actually quite like because they've kind of made a lot of missteps. I quite like that they're finishing it off by going back to what they know kind of works.
Yeah.
People know that arc.
I think it was always a hard ask, right? Like people didn't like The Last Jedi, me included. I fucking hated it. It had some redeeming factors.
That was the second one.
Yeah, it had some
no,
redeeming
I didn't
factors,
really like
but I think they looked at it and they were like, we need to do damage control on that.
Yep.
But at the same time, we need to keep the fan base happy and blah, blah, blah. It was always going to be difficult. I will say this for the film, obviously without going into spoiler territory. I liked it as a standalone film, as the end to a 9-film fucking trilogy.
Do you think they're trying to do that?
That's what it is. They said that's the
I
wrap
suppose
up.
it would. I suppose it is because Palpatine. Yeah, I guess so.
But I
Okay.
think in terms of that, in terms of being the last film of this entire saga, it's very weak. But just go watch it on its own, like its own
weird.
merit, right?
You say that, and it's so obvious to me now. But when I originally saw it, I hadn't thought about it as the end to the whole thing. I thought about it as the end to like the trilogy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the end to the whole thing, it's not.
Even the end to trilogy, it probably doesn't work as well. But if you look,
I quite like. I don't know. For me, it worked. Those closing up those
if
arcs
they
of those characters.
they had kind of planted seeds that happened in that film in the previous films a lot more than just saying like, oh, we have to address this.
Right.
If they were like, this is the fucking plan, let's start because.
There was there?
Yeah,
It was obviously
no
just
spoiler-
damage control.
No spoilers here, but the opening crawl comes on and it's like, oh, Emperor Palpatine has been sending broadcasts. Like, really?
So
How?
I missed the first 10 minutes because I was late.
Of
Yeah.
course
Oh,
you
of
were.
course you
That's
did.
the most Jonesy thing I've ever heard.
And then because then someone said to me like, but as an editor, like surely you hated the first 10-15 minutes, and I was like, well, I missed the first, and they were like, oh, that explains why you like the film. I was just like, all right,
Oh,
maybe
come
I
on.
need
The
to
first 10 minutes
maybe I
not
need to
gonna, like-
catch up.
but-
That exactly.
But it's one of those things. I mean, fuck. It's a decent Star Wars film. It's maybe a bad end to.
It did everything I wanted a Star Wars film to do. Like the little set pieces or the little bits.
Yeah.
So like where they have to go to a ship to like rescue someone. They
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
pretend. They have to try and like sneak on board a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, find
They
new planets. And,
Yeah, they have to do all of those things. They have to go to like a weird bar. They have to find some weird new aliens. They have to do all these little. They have to meet a monster. Like, everything I wanted from the original trilogy, and from there's nothing in the new trilogy that the new trilogy that I wanted.
Yeah.
But everything they did all of it. They ticked every
Yeah.
box, and I was like, yeah, I liked it. It was a good Star Wars movie. Whereas Rise of the Jedi. What's the middle one called?
Rise of Sky. Oh, the Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
Didn't do that for me at all. Like it didn't tick many of those boxes at all for me.
See, I didn't mind it that much because it was taking it in an interesting direction. But some of the decisions were just like, and ultimately it was a boring movie.
Right.
But anyway,
yes.
yeah, we digress. Any other films we want to talk about?
I've been seeing a few things here and there, but nothing that's super worth discussing, to be honest.
Said Knives Out was good.
We said it's a hard one to discuss on a podcast, but Knives
Yeah.
Out was one of the
Go watch Knives Out.
better films of last year.
good
If it's still in cinemas.
Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc.
Exactly.
Oh, I was telling
Benoit
Jamie
Blanc.
actually that I was watching a lot of TV, and maybe because I've got the time or not, I don't know. But switching through the channels, it's like, ooh, The Untouchables is on. So I
Okay.
watched all of The Untouchables, and it's like, then I watched all of The Matrix, then I watched all of Gladiator, I watched all of Behind Enemy Lines with Owen Wilson.
Wow, you've done some
An
watching,
amazing
boy.
film. But you know what it made me realize?
Yeah.
Those films, like, they captivate you in a way that a lot of modern day films don't really.
Right.
Where it's like if like a modern day film is on TV and you're switching by it, you'll watch the first 5 minutes and you'll be like, yeah, okay, fine. And you get distracted. Whereas like films like Gladiator and Untouchables, you're like, oh man, this has got me. I'm going to watch the whole fucking thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got one.
Yes.
that I watched.
Here we go. Why are you smiling?
Because you're going to be like, why are you talking about this?
Okay.
Mary Poppins.
The new one?
Yeah.
Okay.
How is it?
I haven't seen it.
I love Emily Blunt.
I mean, we all do.
She should be loved. She's lovable. She plays such an annoying Mary Poppins. She's bloody British, right? She has an English accent and she speaks relatively well, I think.
Yeah.
But she puts on this fucking annoying posh English accent, which is too far. It sounds like an American doing a fake English accent.
Give us a spin. What did it sound like?
It sounds like you're doing an impression of the Queen. So it was like a British person going like, "Oh yes, oh children, come along, children." It's too much, and then she's so vain. Mm-hmm. If you remember in the original, right, Julie Andrews, like looks in the mirror at one point, and she's like does her hair, and then walks off, and then the mirror's still there. Her reflection's
in the
still
mirror,
there, and it's a fun little thing, and you're like, oh, and you know, Mary Poppins is magical. They do that in this, like early on, they do that as like a little hark back to that, which is fine. She checks her reflection about 1,000 times in the movie. She is so goddamn vain.
I'm going to go ahead
Hey,
and
if you look like Emily Blunt, you're going to be looking at yourself in the mirror plenty of times.
I'm going to go ahead and say that the OG Mary Poppins was also a bitch.
But not, I swear she wasn't as bad.
She's so up her own arse. Because you know what? She's like a really knowing magician who knows exactly how good she is and how much she can wow people and kind of underplays everything that she can do. Like, oh, sorry, did I just pull a lamp out of my back? I didn't realise I could do that. Oh.
I'd love
like, you're oppressing 7-year-olds, you old bint. Get over yourself.
This one felt slightly worse because it did feel like she does that a lot. But then at the same time, there's sections where she just goes off and ignores the kids because everyone's like, wow, it's Mary Poppins, can you do this? And she goes and does something to show off to everyone. She's not even trying to impress the kids anymore.
And the kids are busy like fucking shooting up heroin.
There's one bit where the kids like leave and run away, and she doesn't even notice because she's too busy dancing around.
I'd fire her.
Yeah, useless.
Out on your ass.
Terrible nanny.
Yeah. Not as good as the original. I just wanted to share that.
Give me Nanny McPhee anytime.
Haven't seen those movies.
Nah.
Also, be weird if Emily Blunt was your nanny because you want to bone her as well, which was kind of weird.
Yeah, but then who didn't want to bone their nannies?
Oh, you know, speaking of that, you know what other movie I watched on TV which is fucking great?
Is it about boning nannies?
Kind of.
Okay, let's hear it.
Crazy Stupid Love.
To be fair, that is an all-time great rom-com.
It's so
Which
good.
Crazy Stupid Love
With Steve Carell and
Julianne Moore and Kevin Bacon and
I don't think I've seen it.
and Ryan Gosling and
Emma Stone.
How have I not seen this? It
It's
sounds like
so
a great
funny,
film.
dude. It's such a funny film.
genuinely good movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
but in that, the babysitter is in love with Steve Carell's character, and there's some very funny, awkward scenes with that. Yeah, it's a good film. It's
Basically, Steve Carell, borderline pedo. Is he? Who knows? What's to find out?
Clickbait. Okay, cool. Rundown done.
Yeah.
Predictions. Let's jump into it.
You want to go straight into predictions?
Didn't
Okay.
we wanted to do that? Or
Well, I
wanted
think
to
we
do
said we were
news?
going to touch on news first. We can do predictions first. We can do whatever you want. This is our show.
Should I do
Bang on a door.
no? Rock paper scissors in.
That weird gesturing where you're making no noise doesn't play very well on audio.
This is like you want to beat.
For anyone that
Wow,
wondering,
I was going to say beat me to death, but now it means beat me off. That's what he was really going to do.
Chris was making weird gestures in the air.
I don't know what you're talking about. Watch this on
Doing
YouTube.
that weird
Let's
silence.
decide. Let's do. Okay, so yeah.
Okay, so
paper,
who are you?
rock,
Who are you?
scissors.
So
Are you
Chris-
news?
I am news.
All right, and okay.
And they're about to do rock, paper, scissors for
Yeah.
anyone, again, who is listening on audio and has no idea.
Best-
what's
best of
going
three.
on.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
And
Oh,
Chris won.
Ready?
Oh, we're best of 3.
Oh, it's best of 3
Oh,
now.
we can do best of one. Let's do best of
Best
one.
of 1. All right, so
Best of one.
predictions.
Chris
Yeah, I mean,
Predictions it is.
I just realised if we
This
do
is
that
just-
3 times
yeah.
to the people listening, they're going to be like, "This is the most boring thing I've ever heard in my
what are you
life."
talking about? This is great podcasting. This is a 5-star podcast. We're available on iTunes. Please give us 5 stars. Thank you.
On the review, I really love it when they sit there for 5 minutes just
Yeah.
playing paper. Rock,
And it just
scissors.
sounds like they're jerking each other off. All right,
How do they know we're not? They can't stay under the stable.
hands under.
Hand check. You see that anime conventions there for hand check, and everyone has to put their hands up.
Really?
What? Yeah, that's the thing.
That's fucking weird.
And like where they, they have these
So they're not
anime
beating off?
conventions, and sometimes inevitably it's about some manga,
Big old
like
boobies.
Yeah,
big
Big
old
old
booby shit.
titties.
I think they have a thing called hand check, and when they say hand check, everyone has to put their both hands up in the air to prove they're not wanking. I want to say that's a true thing.
Oh, come
Hold
on.
on, is
I
this, a,
think
big,
that's a
is
true
this a
thing.
large audience of
Yeah.
people? But then how can you tell if one hand isn't there?
Because if you're sat next to someone and only puts one hand up, you'd be like, "Hang on, get
Yeah.
a load of this guy."
He's
What about if you've only-
gyrating.
what about if you've only got one hand?
Well, then get a
Do you know what would be great if
know,
at that
get a
same
fake
convention they sell fake hands which you attach to another hand, so everyone's there, everyone is wanking, and when they go hand check, they all put one hand up, but it looks like two.
I know it sounds
You
like
think
a lot
it's
of work
weird,
just
but
to.
then they had those wank fit movie theaters that Hugh Grant used to go to, and you have to sit the back and wank off.
I've always wondered about them.
Oh, here we go.
If that's true, if they are real places, does that mean when you go to sit to the next showing, there's jizz all over the seats?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the thing always was you're not supposed to wank off in them.
Oh, you're not supposed to?
No, because that's why Hugh Grant got arrested, because he wanked off in there when you're not actually meant to.
I thought you got arrested
No,
for
you got,
boning
yeah,
a
you got arrested
prostitute.
for boning the prostitute.
You
I
get
thought he
arrested for
wanked
wanking
to-
in a cinema.
Someone got arrested for wanking.
Oh,
in
that was
cinema.
Pee Wee Herman.
That was Pee Wee
Please,
Herman.
it's alleged that
Alleged.
these people did any of these
Anyway.
Allegedly.
things. Please don't sue us.
Fortunately-
I'll tell you what,
Libel.
predictions.
Yeah, Pee Wee Herman's
Pee Wee Herman's prediction
crimes
house.
and misdemeanors do not feature in
Before we get
the,
started, guys, I'm really
predictions.
excited. Can I just do this? I have a new flavor of Monster here. It is Monster Energy Ultra Black.
Do you know what it looks like, if I'm being honest? And
Yeah.
this worries me and makes me not want to ever do anything with you ever again. It kind of looks like Sith drink. And
Do you know what it looks like to me?
Sith
My
drink.
first
Sith
reaction
Oh, I'm totally with
was
the
if
Sith.
like Vin Diesel released an energy drink in 2006 that was just his sweat.
Yeah, like
in
if
a
you're
can.
watching this on YouTube, like look at those fucking tribal tattoos.
It's like black, red, and silver
Right, well, it's
tribal.
meant to be cherry, and
I'm
I
just
thought.
saying, it looks like Sith drink, and there are always
Okay.
two.
Well, listen, I haven't
Master and
tried this before,
apprentice.
so I thought maybe I could do like a live reaction.
Like
We're just introducing new features on the fly here.
Yeah.
Monster, if you happen to be listening, reach out.
All right, here we go.
Unless it's gross.
We'd love to
On the
be-
smell, on the nose, the bouquet, we got like
bouquet.
maybe a bit of blackberry.
Have you been watching Sideways or something? Are you in like
Yeah.
wine tasting
Yeah.
mode?
Let's have a look.
Wow.
ASMR on our new podcast.
There is a bit of ASMR there. Don't do that.
That's not very good.
Really?
No, it's not very. Do you want to try some?
Yeah,
You love cherry though.
I know, but that doesn't taste like cherry.
What's it taste of?
It
Medicine.
tastes like blackberries or something.
Jonesy, not immediately.
It's very
recoiling.
like clear, like light. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
It doesn't taste like syrupy. Like
Oh.
imagine like Sprite actually, like that kind of a consistency. But the flavors is a bit weak. I was expecting like a bam cherry, you know.
Yeah, maybe. I think it is cherry. I think it's cherry. Oh, I don't even know. I don't know what cherries taste
It says cherry, but I don't
I
think
think
it's cherry.
it might be cherry.
I'm a cherry connoisseur. Trust me.
Oh, okay, I'll trust you.
Anyway,
I'll trust you.
predictions.
Predictions. So, for anyone that can't remember or wasn't listening or missed it or
Didn't
whatever,
care.
on the episode of the Super Show from the 6th of January last year, what we did was we took a load of predictions that analysts in the industry had made, and I read them out loud. And Chris and Jonesy,
Ooh, yeah, okay,
basically,
yeah.
you guys offered your thoughts on them.
Did we do a quick fire or did we just or like semi quick?
They were pretty quick fire. Sometimes you elaborated on it.
Okay.
And
I like that you made the slip, but it wasn't on the Super Show podcast. It was on a different show.
it was technically on the Super Show.
Yeah, it was the Super Show. It was the ATG Super
Oh,
Show.
I see. Oh, okay.
Technically,
Sorry,
it
I
wasn't
see,
this
I
Super
see.
Show. It was a different
The
Super
other
Show.
Super Show.
And at the very end, you guys also made some predictions of your own. But these started off as analyst predictions.
Oh, I hope we're not going to.
No, I was telling you guys before. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's also weird that some of these weren't known quantities at the time, but they weren't. Speaking of which, to start with, the prediction: Sony first-party exclusives, Death Stranding, The Last of Us Part 2, and Ghost of Tsushima will all release in 2019.
Oh,
Of course,
okay.
back at the time, none of them had release dates.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Chris, your suggestion was that Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima would be released in 2019,
Okay.
but The Last of Us would be released in 2020. You speculated as a cross-gen title.
Oh.
So you were kind of
Not
like
bad.
half right, half
Oh,
wrong.
yeah, sure.
A little bit early on Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah, and hey, you know what? Like, Last of Us could still be like a cross-platform release. We're not entirely sure how they're
could
going to
still
manage
be.
it. Okay.
Jonesy, on the other hand, you were a little bit more pessimistic. You said that all three would release in 2020.
So, okay, so
But you're probably closer than I was. Because just one game.
2 out of
right?
3, technically.
okay, yeah.
And
I'll
Death
chalk
Stranding was
that
a
to a
Christmas
win.
game, was a November game. So
Yeah.
an interesting one.
Okay.
The next one was that Take-Two Interactive will have a quote-unquote big year announcing announcing Borderlands 3. Remember, Borderlands 3 not announced by this point.
Yeah.
Wow. Was it really not?
It wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah. In January, we had even all the event stuff we went to, we had no idea any of that
That
was
has
happening.
come,
Yeah.
been on my radar, left, and I haven't thought about it since.
Yeah, it's mad.
They would announce a new BioShock, and they would announce Rockstar's next title, all by the end of 2019.
Well, I think that we would have gotten this prediction correct.
So okay, go ahead. What do you,
So
Chris? What do you think you said?
So we would have said yes to Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would have said Bioshock next year,
Okay.
and I would have said no to any Rockstar.
You basically hit the nail on the head, but you were a little bit more optimistic about Bioshock.
Okay.
You said there was a chance that a Bioshock would be announced in 2019, which it technically was.
Technically was, yeah. They said they're making a Bioshock.
They did, yes.
But they didn't say anything else.
So that technically you are right.
Jonesy, if I were to tell you now that you were incredibly optimistic throughout this process, what do you think you said?
I would say that that Borderlands 3 was a given, that they had not only announced, but they'd shown some stuff from Bioshock. And that I don't think I would have said that Rockstar would have said anything, but maybe if you're saying I was being really optimistic, then maybe I did.
Yeah, so you basically said at the time, you speculated that Rockstar would be increasingly frustrated with Red Dead Online's poor revenue generation.
Yes, of course.
And that would subsequently almost bring forward any next announcement to slightly earlier than planned.
Okay.
Because they need another moneymaker.
I do remember it now that you say that. I remember, yeah.
Which-
Well, what is Red Dead Online doing these days?
It's still going.
They're doing
It's
those
still
like
updating.
bounties and shit. And...
Yeah, they introduced jobs to it, and I remember a few guys in our community were kind of into it.
Yeah.
But from what I also tell, you have to put a kind of a, not significant, but a certain amount of money into it
Right.
to get money out of it, which is
But
a
then I
tough
think
sell.
GTA is still going strong, right?
Oh, big time,
They're,
yeah.
it's maybe they actually have not worrying about it as much because
This is
of
what
that.
blows my mind. Like all these videos, like, oh, I got GTA 6. Like, no, you don't. It's not coming anytime soon because they're making too much money with GTA Online. Anyway.
Yeah. And next, we moved on to
You
Bethesda.
didn't have any of these predictions, I guess, because you were presenting
because I was reading
to
them
us.
out much the same way I am now, so I didn't really comment on any of them.
Fair enough.
But Bethesda, we moved on to next. Who, if you remember at the time,
Spicy.
were reeling after the release of Fallout 76.
Yeah, and they had Doom Eternal coming out in 2019.
They did
scheduled,
indeed.
planned.
And they had Rage 2 planned.
Shit.
And they had
man.
Wolfenstein Youngblood
Oh
planned.
my god!
Okay.
But at the time, the question was basically that an analyst speculated that because of Fallout 76's failure, one of their big titles would be brought out much sooner than anticipated, and that they said it would be The Elder Scrolls 6. Now, both of you were on the same page on this one. Do you remember what you said?
Yeah, no chance in hell.
I don't
Jonesy?
remember at all.
You don't remember? You basically both agreed that there was, no chance in hell.
Well, I mean, fucking Todd Howard said Starfield before Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls 6, so why would they change that?
So this was before E3, which... Actually, to be fair, they kind of said that the E3 before, so
Yeah.
It was
That's why that one was a weird
strange
one.
prediction from the analyst.
If I remember rightly, it was Chris said no chance in hell because X, Y, and Z, and I was like, "Yep, sounds about right." It's not. I have no idea.
This one is going to probably depress both of you.
Oh god.
So the prediction from the analyst was that Ubisoft will release Skull and Bones, a new Rainbow Six title, a new Watch Dogs title, and a new Splinter Cell title.
We definitely said Splinter Cell would be.
Both of you were not adamant, that's unfair, but both of you were pretty sure that Splinter Cell would be announced.
At this stage, had they announced Legion? No, because that was at E3.
So this was before Rainbow Six Quarantine and Watch Dogs Legion. So it was an interesting shout from the analyst.
Yeah.
I think at the time the Splinter Cell thing felt like a given because I know they were in talks with what's his face.
Ironside.
Yep, with
Yeah.
Ironside.
Yeah.
There'd been that release that people had said he'd been around doing stuff.
Yep.
And
Well, he
so-
was in that Wildlands.
He was,
which I
mission.
think, which we didn't know about. I think at the time.
No, we knew about it that
Did
time.
we know about that time?
Yeah.
Oh.
But you're right, there was still weird stuff around Michael Ironside that suggested he'd
Oh
done
no,
more
there
than
was
just
that one tweet or something that one Ubisoft dev got drunk and
There were the directors were
Yeah.
having wine together and tweeting about it. It was very strange.
But then it
yeah.
turns out they were just trolling everyone. Fuck. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that was a disappointment. The one thing that I will note there is an interesting one. Jonesy, for some reason, you didn't really specify why, but you were pretty sure that Watch Dogs 3 would not be a thing.
I can't remember why I thought.
At least not yet.
Interesting.
I'm not sure why. You didn't. I re-listened to the podcast and you weren't super specific.
Yeah.
I can't
Okay.
remember if I was going to guess why it was. I think it would be because the way they were talking about that game working and the fact that you could be anyone.
Oh, this was before that. This was before the reveal of
Before
Watch
the
Dogs 3,
reveal
yeah.
of it, then I've
Yeah.
got no idea.
Interesting.
Well, I was right though.
You were right about
They
it not
didn't
being a
release it.
2019 thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at the time I would have guessed it would have come out at Christmas, but then
Yeah, but then Ubisoft were like, shut the bed. And they're like, well, just move everything into 2020. New decade, new us.
and then they shut the bed again, and now it doesn't even have a release date.
Yeah, man.
What a weird thing.
Mad.
Speaking of weird things, one prediction from an analyst was that Overwatch and Black Ops 4's Blackout mode, that's the Battle Royale thing,
Yeah.
would both go free to play by the end of 2019. Do you guys remember what you thought about that?
I think I would have said yes.
Right, okay.
Because it was the way that other things were all moving and going, and it's been out
That
that
is
long that
exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Even you referenced Fortnite's free-to-play model. Chris, do you remember what you said?
I think I probably would have said Black Ops yes, Overwatch no.
You actually agreed with Jonesy. You thought
Really?
you thought that Overwatch would go free-to-play.
And
Now-
instead we got Overwatch 2.
yeah.
Instead-
now that
yeah.
you say it, I'm surprised they haven't done it. I'm surprised they didn't do it.
Yeah, and Chris, you went further and you said, which a lot of people kind of thought at the time,
Yeah.
that Blackout could continue as a standalone mode alongside the release of 2019's Call of Duty.
Oh, so,
Which-
so 2019's Call of Duty would release with a Blackout mode.
Or
Right.
that Modern Warfare would come out without it, but the Blackout mode by that point would be a separate free executable.
I think because even now I said yes to Black Ops being its own thing. I think the idea behind it, or my thinking at least, was they're going to continue releasing CODs every single year.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with that? They're not going to release another battle royale because they've got one.
Yeah, and that's not the way you do it. You don't keep
Yeah.
releasing them every year, so you kind of have to separate the two off.
Like we're in I think season 6 of PUBG, but it's not like PUBG number 6.
No. No, I think you're
Yeah.
completely right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair enough.
The next two are actually kind of interesting, but not for the reasons we thought at the time.
Okay.
One prediction, Respawn will release Titanfall 3 and Jedi Fallen Order by the end of 2019.
Okay. All right.
So, again, do either of you remember what you said?
Oh, I think I would have said yes to Jedi Fallen Order,
Right?
and I would have said, I either would have said Titanfall 3 to be announced, or maybe released in 2020. But I probably would have said Titanfall VR.
You mentioned Titanfall VR,
Okay,
but what
yeah.
you said specifically about Titanfall 3, I've got the quotes,
Yeah.
that you were, quote, fully erect for it,
Yes.
and that subsequently you, quote, want to believe.
Yeah. I mean, I think all of us at this table, and hopefully
Yeah.
those listeners at home, all want to believe that
We all
another
wanna believe.
Titanfall is in the works.
Jonesy, you put your serious cap on for this one, and you
Oh.
said no Titanfall 3. But
Yeah.
of course, the
Fuck you, Titanfall.
the
You can't have anything here.
basically, but the interesting thing is what none of us knew at that time was we were 1 month away from the surprise announcement and release of Apex Legends.
Yeah.
In the Titanfall universe.
Mad. Fuck yeah.
It's
But
funny because
none of us knew.
If
Like-
we'd have heard that there was, if an analyst somewhere had said that there was going to be a free-to-play, battle royale game coming out from Respawn in 1 month,
Yeah.
we would have
Yeah.
been like, no
in
way.
the Titanfall universe, but with no Titans or Wolverine.
Yeah.
He
Dude,
was like,
but like thinking back on Apex, even thinking about it now, that whole release was absolutely fucking
That's
mad.
bonkers.
Yeah,
It
crazy.
was like, oh, we're announced it. Oh, by the way, within the week you'll be playing it.
Yep.
I
And
love
all of-
that.
It was so good. It was
I
so
like
good.
the hype, but I don't like the hype when it goes on too long. And then when sometimes they completely subvert that and they just be like, it's that thing of what, when they say they do an announcement at E3 or whatever, and then they say, and you can play it today.
Yeah.
And then you get super excited. It's like that, but to another level.
Oh,
right?
the first time I
Yeah.
got excited to that extent was when they announced Fallout 4 at that E3, and they're like, it's going to be available in November. I was like, that's like a
Yeah.
couple of months away.
Yeah. I had a bit of that for the Cyberpunk release date because I remember being at E3 the year before,
Yes,
E3 2018, when they first showed the behind closed doors demo, and everyone walked out of that thinking, this is a next gen game. Like this thing
has to
isn't
be.
real. And of course, for Keanu to come out and basically say, hey, you're still gonna have to wait like 9 months or whatever it is.
Check this out.
Check this out. But it was still sooner than I thought.
Fuck yeah, man.
This one is actually kind of maybe one of my favorite predictions, just because
God, here we go.
what you guys said. So the prediction was a Nintendo Switch, quote unquote, Lite,
Oh,
and or a Switch Pro to be released and or announced in 2019. Jonesy, I'll start with you. Do you remember what you said?
I feel like I would have said no Pro, but there would be a Lite.
I think you said the opposite.
Chris is right. You said the opposite.
And I think I said a light and no
Yeah.
pro.
So,
right.
Jonesy, you said the Switch Pro will happen, but there will not be a Switch Lite. The argument you made, which interestingly was a big conversation around the announcement of the Switch Lite, was why
DS.
would they release a version of the Switch that took away what some people saw as a cool piece of functionality,
Oh, I see,
i.e.
okay.
the ability to take off Joy-Cons and dock it.
Right.
And then that's exactly.
And that's exactly what they did. Chris,
Yes.
you said that both would happen eventually, but you said the low-end Switch Lite is more likely as Nintendo tend to target that audience first.
Yeah.
And you also cited the Nintendo
Smashed
2DS taking away the 3D functionality
Exactly.
as a reason that they would strip away
Yeah.
their own ideas.
Because the thing about Nintendo is they're a kids first company. Like
Sure.
either which way you paint it. So
And
yeah.
there were two really quick ones to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I asked you both whether you thought the Switch would be the highest selling console of 2019.
No.
I think I said no as well.
You both said yes.
Oh!
And I think you were both right. I didn't bother fact checking that.
Well, younger me was smarter than old me, obviously.
And then this was what I mean with Jonesy, maybe being a bit like controversial. I asked you whether you both thought Fortnite would still be the biggest game in the world by the end of 2019. In roundabout terms.
Oh, yeah.
Not,
So I would have said...
excluding Asia. And
I would have said undoubtedly, and yeah.
I said,
I think I actually remember
I probably said
this.
that Fortnite will be dead and there will be a new thing.
You speculated the new free-to-play title would take the crown, which... Apex was probably the closest and wasn't that close in the end. But
it's not impossible. Instead, we got Fortnite 2.
Yeah, we actually did.
And actually, Fortnite 2 has been stuck on... I didn't know this, because obviously I don't play Fortnite that much, but Fortnite 2 released, and it was this big thing, and people were waiting. It had that black hole, whatever. And they've been stuck on Season 1 since then.
Okay.
They haven't had any updates.
How long ago was that?
Dude, I don't know.
It's got to be...
A couple of months.
I don't know. They'll do something soon. That train will keep rolling.
I'll tell you what, we were still working for All Time Gaming.
Yes.
So
that's going to be like our kind of point of reference for everything.
Yeah.
Pre or post to AD.
It's like or what is it like after like AD BC
okay.
AD.
Yeah.
That's going to be like for ATG. All right. Anyway.
And then I'll rattle off some of these because we basically made some predictions of our own. Some of these are more interesting than others.
So these are unprompted predictions, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what for example, we talked about, Chris, you and I both said that we would know about the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox before the end of 2019.
And we did.
That proved to be true. Chris, one of my favourite ones that you made.
God, okay.
No, in a good way.
Okay.
A new core title from Valve will be announced in 2019. That was accurate.
That
Fucking
was
smashed it.
Half-Life Alyx.
Apropos of nothing.
Well
Chris
done.
Although I would have probably, if you had to ask me which title to put money on, I probably would have said Left 4 Dead 3.
Right, and interestingly, Jonesy, you said that Valve will announce Portal 3 in 2019, which, another one from you, Jonesy.
Although, you know what, that Portal, that prequel to Portal got not leaked or announced, but did you hear about this?
No.
So Valve were working on a prequel to Portal where you're in the Aperture facility and you've got this camera, and the camera, you can take a picture, almost like that PlayStation game that they showed off at the last PlayStation Direct thing.
Oh, where you can like take a snapshot and the perspective changes.
Yeah, or you can take the picture and move it, and the ball in the picture appears there. It's basically that. So Valve abandoned it, but then a developer and like an indie dev was making something like that. They got pretty close. They found some source code or something of that.
Right.
And then Valve gave them like their blessing to just release it or show it off or whatever it was. So
that's wicked.
Yeah, there's like they basically rebuilt that source code and showed it off.
To be fair, there's so many places you can go with Portal 3
because
like just make a good puzzle game, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
You can tie it to the story how you want, right?
Yeah.
Some other interesting ones. Jonesy, you said you thought at least a new player would enter the VR world in 2019, offering more affordable and accessible VR. Didn't strictly speaking happen, but we did get the Quest.
Yeah, they've it's maybe not affordable is not that, but they're trying to make it more maybe accessible.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Did you hear what they're doing with the? I never knew this. I mean, I'm sure it was like common knowledge, but it completely passed me by. With the Quest, right? So the Quest is the standalone headset, but they've got this thing I think called like Quest Link or Quest Connect or something, where you just connect one cable
to a PC,
and then that's just a fucking a really good VR headset.
Right.
I remember because I listened to a podcast where a lot of people had bought I guess it would have been an Oculus Rift S or something like that, and were really annoyed when that was announced. They were like, I should have just bought a Quest. There's no difference.
But there is
slightly better build and resolution or whatever. But
for the most part.
Jonesy, this was kind of like a small one from you, but I like it because it was kind of true that it will be a lax and quiet year for video games in general. Lax is a quote there.
I mean, not wrong. It wasn't.
I think Jonesy was kind of right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think you'll find that's the definition of not wrong.
Well, I like to use the positive words rather than... And I'll leave it on one more. Chris reaffirmed the most depressing prediction of the year that, Chris, you said a new Splinter Cell game will be announced in 2019. We didn't get it.
Well, at least that's something to look forward to in 2020, eh?
But yes, those were...
I don't know, man. I feel like I've been fucking demolished with that one, and I've lost all hope.
What, Splinter Cell? Yeah. That's drained all the energy from me.
We talked about it a lot, and then nothing happened.
It seemed like such a surefire thing.
Yeah.
But there we go.
Oh, well.
Those were your reactions and counter predictions to predictions from other industry analysts.
I just realized something. If we were actually good at this podcasting game, we'd probably have a bunch of predictions to make for next year.
Yeah, because we could kind of set up a cycle where every year you can react. But you know what?
Well, you guys did some hot takes to predictions of which we did a couple of weeks ago, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, shit, that's true.
So we did go through some
To be
predictions.
fair, yeah, actually last time round you brought some stuff and we...
Yeah.
Man, it's weird. Like, that feels like so long ago,
Yeah.
those 2 podcasts we did, like, in December. But it was like, yeah, it's
But
a handful of weeks ago.
We can look back and see what you guys, your
Yeah.
hot takes.
But also this year feels like much more of a known quantity because... Like, yeah, last year was kind of that year before the new generation where everyone's wondering what's going on. This year it's kind of like everything got delayed. Now everything's coming out. The big titles all have release dates, and the consoles have names and logos, as we now know. And so
This
on
does
and so
feel like
forth.
the year of the new generation. Do you know what I mean? Already, it feels like any of the game stuff might be pushed to the wayside because that's all coming.
Yeah, not long to go now.
Oh, all right, cool. Okay, so should we jump into the news then?
Let's do some news.
Roll off some headlines.
Just a couple
Why
of
not?
headlines, like some basic stuff, okay? But the biggest one probably was CES, or the Consumer Electronics Show, was happening in Las Vegas. Our very own, well, not our very own, but our buddy,
Our good friend.
Steph Murphy of Technovo fame, did go there. And he was in Vegas. He was making me very jealous with all of his Instagram posts.
Yeah.
But yeah, so loads of cool stuff. Basically, the future of electronic devices is there. Okay, you go to Vegas, you know, you do a couple of hookers, do some blow, go check out some electronics, you know, take a few Instagram snaps.
It's called Sin City for a reason, Jones.
Hey, look, just because Steph told you what he did when he was there.
Shit, I've fucking doxed him. All right, but yeah, so the biggest kind of news, at least as how it relates to us,
Yeah.
is Sony's kind of conference, if you will. They announced a Sony car.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
A Sony car?
Yeah, it doesn't look great. It's like an electric car.
Okay.
But yeah, blah, blah, blah. But the big thing is everyone thought, oh, they'll have some PlayStation shit there, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, they did have some PlayStation
Kind
shit
of did,
there.
yeah.
Literally just the logo reveal.
Oh, okay.
And guess what it looks like?
The same as it's always looked.
Yes,
Yes,
it's the PS4.
with a
Well,
5.
no, actually, it's not. Yes, it's the same as PS4, except with a 5. But it's not the same as it always looks, because I was reminded that PlayStation 3 was in that fucking weird Spider-Man font.
font, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
It was
that
written
at all.
out in full. It was the same as the Spider-Man
Oh,
font.
yes. Of course it was.
And that was their branding. So
Yeah.
basically, with
Oh,
this new
weird.
branding, what they're saying is like, hey, we're not fucking reinventing the wheel here. PS4 was fucking gangbusters. This one's going to be gangbusters as well.
Which a lot of people are dunking on it, like, the PS5 logo, it's the same as the... Like, what did you expect?
Yeah,
It's
but
a bit- I don't
you know what's weird? Because those are the same people that'll dunk on fucking Xbox for going fucking polar opposites with their fucking naming and logo.
You can
I
never
think-
keep everyone happy.
Yeah. like,
People love a
fucking hell.
dunk nowadays. A dunk at the expense. Do you know what I saw on Twitter the other day? People having a dunk at the expense of Avatar.
Oh, Avatar.
Like, because Avatar
yeah,
2
like that
concept
wasn't
art-
the
Oh,
biggest
yes.
And
movie.
people are
Like,
oh, I'm sorry, who even wants Avatar 2? I'm like, fucking half of China,
Yeah.
you idiot.
Yeah, like, exactly.
no, but it's like don't.
They
don't
were literally
forget.
they were killing themselves over Avatar in China. They named a mountain after Avatar in China.
Did they?
Yeah.
What did they call the mountain?
I'll look it
Avatar.
up, but there's
Avatar
genuinely
Mountain.
I was really hoping that was going to be the answer.
Avatar Mountain. Yeah.
Maybe like the tree, whatever the tree's called or something. I don't know.
I'm going to look it up because I'm so adamant that it's true. Don't let me
It was
stop
the
the news,
biggest.
though.
Like for the longest time, it was like, oh, this movie's the most profitable movie ever
Like,
made.
don't get me wrong. I'd be so hyped if I dunked on something and I was right. But and everyone was like, yeah, that's right. Well done for dunking on it. But at the same time, it's just arrogance in a lot of ways when you dunk on something.
yeah.
It's because it could be like the biggest thing ever.
Oh,
and you
let me
just
put it
wanna
this way.
point out
So
it's
if
not.
you had to dunk on Avatar 2, right?
Yeah.
And it did come out to be trash, I'll be like, I'm sorry, who are you?
yeah,
That dude's fucking James Cameron.
You ready for some pronunciation?
Oh,
Go on.
There's a
No,
park.
but then you have to do it in the accent. as well.
No way. There's a park in China called the Zhangjiaji.
See?
Zhangjiaji
yeah.
What's that?
National Forest. Was the title of the
Oh.
Wikipedia page.
That
Zhangjiaji
I
National
think
Forest
you
Park.
pretty much nailed it as I tried.
And in it,
Zhangjiaji.
it has a quartz sandstone pillar that's 1,018 meters tall, and it was officially renamed the Avatar Alleluia Mountain in honor of the movie Avatar in January 2010. That's how much China loves Avatar, motherfucker. That's why Jimmy C is going to be rolling in Benjamins for years.
Jimmy C.
They named a pillar, a stone
Yeah,
pillar.
wow.
A quartz pillar. Oh, I nearly did the accent. We need to move away from China.
All right, well, let's go back to the PlayStation thing, because what they did is they reiterated that it was going to be 8K gaming.
Only like 3 people have even got 4K TVs. Who cares about 8K?
Listen, you can do 8K, but it'll be like 5 frames a second. Look,
we can't do 8K. Who owns an 8K? Who sells 8K?
Marquez
TVs?
Brownlee.
No one has them. This is so pointless.
They reiterated ray tracing and said more features to be shown off that will differentiate it from the competition.
Can opener.
Yep, maybe.
Built in.
Do you know what? A bottle opener on the front of that thing.
It's not a bad idea.
Joke, but
the logo is slightly sticking out, and you can.
Oh, hold on! I've got it. Oh, this is fucking genius.
Okay, here we go. Brace yourselves, everyone.
Okay, you know when they do like collabs and it's like, let's say like ATG X SuperShow, like
Yes.
So it's going to be PlayStation 5 X Fleshlight.
Goodness gracious.
Do you like your PlayStation? Now show it that you like it by fucking it.
All I'm imagining is, when Homer Simpson designs a car, it's like the PlayStation version of that. It's like, it's got a bottle opener, it's got a little jiggly thing to entertain children, it's got a flashlight.
But like, just think about it. Just think about it. Okay?
Imagine they basically made a sex robot that played PlayStation 5 games.
A DualShock controller.
Right.
Because they've really got those fucking spinning motors.
I mean, it vibrates.
Yeah, with a little opening.
Well, that's like a cock ring at that point. Who's that? Who wears a cock ring?
with a sleeve.
Who does wear a cock ring? That's a great question.
You guys aren't wearing... Yeah, who
doesn't wear any?
I've never met anyone who wears a cock. I'm sure some people do it, but
I'm sure Robin has got fucking 5 cock rings.
We'll ask him
now.
later.
Anyway.
Uncovered Robin's cock ring.
So some more interesting stuff from
I don't want to uncover Robin's cock ring, thanks.
Go watch their new... anyway. Some other stuff from CES, which is quite interesting. Razer had a mobile phone peripheral called the Razer Kishi. So if I'm pronouncing that correct. Basically, it's Switch controllers for a mobile game. This is what we were saying.
Right.
We predicted it.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, you said it would be wicked if Nintendo made a
and I still think Nintendo should.
That would be
This
great.
is different to the one that's an actual Switch-like console, or is this the same thing?
Oh, no, that's different. So
That's
what this
different,
is,
okay.
it's an attachment. You can connect it to the side of your phone, and it's variable, so it can
Right.
match a different range of cell phones.
Yeah.
And it's got removable controllers that you can put into a central little hub to make like the Switch.
Sony should sue Razer. Not Sony. Nintendo should sue Razer.
Yeah.
Let's
I think what you were thinking of, which I am super fucking excited for, if it's a thing, Alienware. Now, I'm an Alienware dude. I fucking love Alienware, right? Alienware showed off the Concept UFO, which is basically a Switch, but PC edition.
Okay.
So really powerful. It's an 8-inch screen, 1900 by 1200 resolution, and removable controllers. They didn't give away any specs as far as I could tell, but this was playing pretty much AAA games.
Yeah, it seems smart on paper. There's a part of me that can't figure out whether something like that actually sells, because we've got a friend, us three, a guy called Stu, who we used to work with.
Oh yeah, Mobile Stu.
Who was obsessed with handheld consoles.
Yeah.
And so he had a PSP and a Vita and a 3DS and stuff like that. But in the gap between, let's say, the 3DS and the Vita and the Switch, he would invest in all these weird things like...
NVIDIA Shield.
Right,
NVIDIA
NVIDIA Shield, but that was still a thing. And all these weird, basically like third-party things that were trying to fill that gap.
Handheld, yeah.
And no one ever gave a shit about them, despite the fact that they could functionally do what the Switch did. But then Nintendo came in and obviously offers their first-party support and the titles and
But I think that's just
everything.
kind of reinvigorated, isn't it? Because now what you're doing is you're getting the big players. Okay, NVIDIA was a big player, sure. But you're getting a lot of, like, Alienware's Dell, dude. Like,
But that's basically what I'm saying. I can't tell if the Switch has paved the way for these things to actually be successful now, or whether they're still going to come out and be kind of vague kind of curiosities that people still tend towards the big name.
Yeah,
of
I kind of think
Nintendo.
it's a different audience.
You know
I think Nintendo have got an audience already, and the Switch kind of can fill that with their first party stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But I think the problem is, as soon as you talk about Alienware, like no Alienware fan's going to want to go and buy that.
True. I mean, I'd rather have a laptop.
Yeah, they're going to exactly.
What I think it could be a glimpse to an exciting future where you've got a unit with a screen that is mobile, and that is your computer, and you can plug it in anywhere. You can take it with you, and you can attach any kind of peripheral to it, and it'll play your games wherever you go.
This is weird to me because it kind of goes against the move toward cloud gaming, and you can play your game on any screen. You just need something to, just a connection to the web and then stream the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I was going to say Google, who are the company with the best infrastructure in the world for offering that kind of service, who are failing to offer that service right now in a way that's appealing to customers.
I don't know what service they were trying to offer, but it wasn't that.
A shit one.
Yeah. But anyway,
I forgot I did play another game.
Yeah?
Last time I saw you guys, I really wanted to quickly mention it because it was 1-2 Switch.
Oh.
And I'd like to say to everyone listening to this, please never buy 1-2
it's
Switch.
ridiculous. Yeah. Although, did you play that game where you got the matchbox and got to feel the balls in it?
No.
You haven't felt that HD Rumble?
That's the HD Rumble showcase, and it's fucking amazing.
I tried.
You can
There's
feel
one where
the
you can
balls in your
shave
hand.
yourself.
Oh yeah,
And it was awful.
Yeah, no. Or do you do the milking the cow, where it just looks like you're
I
jerking
didn't
off.
milk a cow yet.
Jonesy,
I had no fun.
Jonesy, not only did you play the worst Switch game, but you played the worst mini games on the worst Switch game.
You have to play a certain number of them in order to unlock all of them.
Oh, weird. Well, maybe that's why I didn't come across.
That sounds like
something.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
I was like with my kids. I was like, come on, let's play this.
I'm surprised you didn't get Ring Fit Adventure, dude. It seems like right up your fucking alley.
I just wanted a cheap game for Christmas for like the family can play. We played it for 10
You should have
minutes and
gotten
then never
snipper
ever
clips,
put
dude.
it on again.
Nah, you should have gotten snipper clips.
Or Jackbox.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so Alienware have stated it's just a concept. They're not.
Yeah.
They want to gauge interest before they go into it. It's very much a prototype.
None.
But what a separate thing to that, Razer again, they've released a really small form factor PC. It's a case that's basically the size of, let's say, two RTX 2080 stacked together, and it can fit an RTX 2080. But the thinking behind it is, here's a desktop grade graphics card in an enclosure with high end laptop components, and that's your tiny little desktop. It's a tiny little unit.
Yeah.
Portable.
Yeah, like
don't know.
So that's the idea, right?
if you see the size of this, it's like, yeah, that's fucking cool.
I used to be kind of interested in this whole race to the bottom thing in terms of what's the smallest form factor you can get and how much shit can you stuff in it. But as someone who's in the process of making room in my room for a desktop PC, I feel like I'm moving in the opposite direction.
Right.
Where I'm like, when I hear like, oh, we've crammed a 2080 into the thing that's the size of your fucking forearm, I'm like, oh, okay. I look forward to that being 300 degrees and like being useful in one scenario.
You want a massive case that you can actually have a bed inside and just live in it.
Yeah, I want a fold-out bed. Where's the Alienware bed?
It was kind of with phones though. Do you remember when phones kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller?
Yeah.
And it was like, this is the future.
Yeah.
And someone said, actually, they're shit. And like, let's
But
come out.
it's like, I remember the first time like someone told me about, oh yeah, it's a desktop level graphics card in a laptop. And I'm like, yeah, it's also £300, 400 degrees and has half an hour battery life.
Well, that's wrong,
Like,
because
what
my
are you gonna do
Alienware
with
is
it?
just upgraded. It's great. Anyway, one last thing I want to talk about, cool stuff from CES, is Origin. So they are like a boutique PC maker.
Yes, I think I've heard of them.
They released something called the Big O, which is
Hello.
O for orgasm. It's basically a high-end PC that you can spec and build yourself. Or
And as you said, it's got a flashlight built in. So you can,
I just thought of the perfect advertising campaign.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of people like freeze frames of their faces reacting
Their
to games.
O-face.
It's their O face, yeah.
But what's
clever.
cool about this is
Markets itself.
It's a PC on the one side, but in the same case, the same chassis.
It's a bed.
It's
okay.
It's either an Xbox or PS4.
Okay. What an actual PS4 and Xbox?
Yeah, not like, as you know, they've taken all the internal components and shoved it into their case.
Is this like an official thing, or are they just...
it's official. You can buy it. It's like a hybrid almost.
But as in, has it been sanctioned by...
Like, have PlayStation said, like, oh yeah, you can gut the PlayStation, put it in your box?
Who knows?
I don't know who that's for. If you're going to be a PC person, you're going to spend all this money on a PC, why are you then going to go, do you know what? Because like we talk about all the positives about a console. I know you guys kind of agree that, but they work differently. You have them in different situations. Who's going to sit down and like buy games for their PlayStation
kind of weird, especially
in
because
the same box as their PC?
Especially because Origin are not a cheap manufacturer. Right? But it just kind of seems strange to me that they're doing this at the end of the fucking life cycle.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
But anyway,
maybe that's what you do at the last CES before the new generation. You're just like, this is our biggest crackpot idea. It might work, it might not, but we'll throw it out.
Sony's not going to sue us because they got a new one coming out. Like, I don't know.
If it was like a PC and it had a Switch, a PlayStation, and an Xbox all in the same case, and it was like never miss an exclusive, I could see some people, what do you call them, whales with too much cash, who would buy it.
One of your buddies would probably pick that up.
Yeah, we definitely would.
Okay, and the last bit of interesting news that I thought, like, it's been not the strongest kind of week for gaming news. I think we're going to ramp up very soon.
First week of the year.
Still hungover.
Yeah, exactly. But Sea of Thieves.
Oh, Steph would love this.
Yeah, this is the Steph Murphy minute. It's past 10 million player mark.
2 words. Game Pass.
Yeah, no, that's.
Make shit basically free and people will play it.
I think you've
10
hit the nail on
million
the head
people
there.
will be bored enough that they'll log on to
10 million people is
Yeah.
nuts, though.
But the thing is, Game Pass completely changed my approach to how much time I feel like I have to put into a game, where I'm so much more willing to download something, try it for half an hour and say, nope.
Yeah. PlayStation Now, and that is not great. I played Farm Simulator for like an hour.
You do that shit when it's basically free, or when you've already paid the cost that makes it essentially free.
Yeah.
It changes your kind of the way you process it. I think it's actually one of the more fascinating conversations around game design at the moment is how developers are having to react to the fact that so many more games are being included as services, and so many more games are being judged more harshly than ever on their first 10 minutes, half an hour, that it's people having to reverse engineer their games to front load shit.
Yeah.
So people say, hey, when this launches on Game Pass, this is going to be interesting enough that people keep actually playing it.
Yeah. It's
I
interesting.
find that fascinating.
I wonder how it's going to change development.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that wraps up our first podcast of 2020.
poddy.
There we go.
Felt good to get back in the hot seat, and
I have fucking missed you guys.
Tell me about it. It's
Yeah.
been 2 long old weeks, or however many weeks it's been.
it's been so. Do you know what it is? It's the most consecutive days that I've spent not at work in 7 years, and my body doesn't know what to do.
I also think it's maybe the most consecutive days I haven't seen your mugs.
Yeah, I think
It's close. Well, Jonesy is maybe.
I did disappear
Jonesy
for a
got a
while.
lot of paternity leave in the middle there that I was like,
And no
I haven't
children.
seen that guy in 3 months.
Yeah, no children, but just lots of
Yeah, exactly. Don't know how you figured that one out, but
We go to his house. It's just cardboard cutouts of his kids.
he's
It's like, these are my kids. It's like, Jonesy, you've lost it.
He's got a doll that he's like a china doll that he's caressing.
Look at my baby.
Oh my god, that's morbid.
I know someone who had one of those little fake babies.
Really?
Like the really, really realistic ones that cost like
To
£1,000.
learn?
No.
To do stuff with.
Because she borrowed it from a friend who's like a collector. And it was
Oh.
creepy.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Well, maybe if we should just leave that there.
Yeah.
All right, just so people know, we are now on podcasting platforms, not just on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. I think the plan going forward, unless it changes, we'll let you know, but we will be releasing the episodes on YouTube first. So if you want to be in the know, head on over there at SuperShow Podcast. But they will be a couple of days later, maybe a handful of days later, on podcast platforms. We're talking Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Deezer, and Castbox.
You can get us everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
But as I said before, we are a 5-star podcast, taking that over from the ATG Super Show.
Never gets old.
No, so do give us a friendly rating if you want to, if it's deserved. Yeah, you could follow us on Twitter, which is @SuperShowPod. And with that, guys, thank you so much for listening / watching / I don't know, whatever else you do while we're doing these podcasts. So guess see you next week.
Yep.
See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.